Due to the graphic nature of the murders, viewer discretion is advised. 26 July 2015, Paul Massey, a 55-year-old businessman based in Salford, Manchester, England, and also a convicted criminal, had just arrived home from the store in his silver BMW 5 Series. Seconds after he got out from the car, he was shot. As he heard the gunshot sounds, he rushed to take cover in the nearby bins. But the killer found him and fired 18 shots at Massey with his Uzi submachine gun. Massey died within minutes. After he was done with the killing, the killer pedaled away on his bicycle through the streets. The detectives started their work instantly. They collected and analyzed the bullet casings, the CCTV visuals, the witnesses, and the body, among much more. It was established that the killing was a targeted one, meaning that Massey was shot knowing who he is, or rather, Massey was shot because who he is. But unfortunately, that was the last time that anybody got a sight of the killer. The killer wasn't found in the public after that. This led the officials to issue a reward of £50,000 or rupees 50 lakhs or almost 70,000 US dollars for any information about the killer. But that did not lead to anything since nobody was ready to say anything. Even if anybody saw or heard anything, they were not ready to say it out. Why, you ask? Well, it was pretty sure that this crime was organized by the rival crime group. So people feared serious repercussions if they talked about something or they reported something to the authorities. In other words, people were scared that if they opened up, they would be killed by the rival crime group. And as a result, nobody came up with any info to the authorities. It also did not help that the detectives had a high number of suspects, as high as 112. They couldn't manage these 112 suspects into a more manageable number of maybe a handful of suspects. And what this meant was that the killer was safe. For now, the people were not ready to speak up, and number two, the police had a massive number of suspects. The killer would have been feeling quite confident. Talking about the killer, he was an interesting person. Mark Fellows was a hitman, that is, you pay him if you wanted to get rid of someone forever. And he regularly got contracts from the rival crime group of Paul Massey. He was also an athlete. He had taken part in marathons and bicycle races. He also took part in the Great Manchester Run, which is a half marathon conducted in Manchester. Keep those in mind, we need them later in the video. For 3 whole years, there were no further improvements in the case of the killing of Paul Massey till 2018. And fair to say, Mark Fellows would have thought that he had gotten away with the killing. But the next gig that he got sort of made the investigators reopen the case. And that hitman gig was the killing of John Kinsella. John Kinsella was another English criminal, and he was also a close friend and associate of Paul Massey. He was among the pallbearers, that is, the people who carry the coffin at the funeral of Massey. The 53-year-old Kinsella was as feared as he was respected. One time, he intervened when a gangster tried to harm the English footballer Stephen Gerrard. Coming to the killing, on 5 May 2018, John Kinsella was walking his dogs along with his pregnant partner Wendy Owens in a secluded footpath near their home. As they were walking, the killer, Mark Fellows, pedals in a mountain bike wearing a high visibility jacket behind him and shot him twice in the back with a revolver. As Kinsella was on the floor dying, Fellows got on top of him and fired 2 more shots into the back of his head. As in the previous killing, the detectives started their work instantly, and there was one thing that instantly caught their eye. The modus operandi of both the crimes were extremely similar. Shot with a gun with the intention to kill and escaped with a bicycle. But that was pretty much it until the interesting part of this whole case popped up. And so yeah, let's talk about that interesting part. And yep, you guessed it, that interesting part is the tech part. Of all the things that the police thought would help them in the case, I highly doubt if they thought a smartwatch would come to their rescue. So the breakthrough of this case was a Garmin Forerunner. The Garmin Forerunner series of sports smartwatches, they are aimed at the road runners and the marathoners, and as a result, they have features like accurate tracking of the distance, the heart rate, the speed and the altitude, and they also have GPS. So Fellows, being the marathoner that he is, he used a Garmin Forerunner to track his physical activities. And the detectives, while raiding Mark Fellowes' house, stumbled over his Garmin Forerunner. And on top of that, they also found a picture of him wearing the Garmin Forerunner when he was running a marathon in Manchester. Remember the great Manchester run that I talked about earlier in the video? Yeah. So in that marathon, he wore his Garmin Forerunner. Now, Fellowes wasn't that dumb. He didn't wear a GPS-enabled smartwatch to the place where he was about to commit a killing. But it was still dumb. When the authorities plugged his Forerunner into a computer, it showed that he was in a field opposite to that of Massey's home months before he killed Paul Massey. This could have been possibly done to know more about the place that he was going to conduct a killing. And this was further matched up with hundreds of hours of CCTV visuals in which a person similar to the appearance of Mark Fellowes was seen in the place where Paul Massey was killed. So that was the first part of the tech part of this case. Fellowes wore a GPS-enabled smartwatch to scout his possible locations to conduct the killing of Paul Massey. The second part is EncroChat. So if you don't know about EncroChat, which I'm assuming is a vast majority of the viewers, then imagine WhatsApp or iMessage, but with a level of security so high, so impossible to hack, even for legal purposes. Infiltrations are only possible through installing malwares onto the phones, but even that is tough due to the tight security protocols that are in place. Even though this was initially developed for celebrities to not to have their chats leaked, it didn't take much time for the criminals to realize that this is an extremely valuable asset for them. The reason that I'm talking about EncroChat in this video is because the platform that Mark Fellowes and his accomplice used to talk and discuss about the crime was, EncroChat. The police still hasn't deciphered those chats. Even if they do get into the phone, they won't be able to access anything on the phone. The phones which are able to run EncroChat has a special feature called remote wipe, in which everything on the phone is instantly deleted. And by chance if a person using this is caught, then it has an option to boot into a dummy Android home screen and not the home screen which has all of the sensitive details. And I should probably say this, if you're planning on using EncroChat after watching this video for suspicious activities, then you won't be able to, because it was shut down in 2020 for obvious reasons. Sorry that I ranted a bit about EncroChat, but I felt it played a very vital role in this crime, so that's why I wanted to talk more about that. Anyway, coming back to the killing, on May 30th, that is within just 25 days of the killing of Kinsella, Fellowes was arrested at the airport after he was returning from a vacation with his girlfriend. After 8 whole months of trial, on January 17th of 2019, Mark Fellowes was sentenced to life in prison after he was found guilty of both the murders of Kinsella and Massey, and he thereby became only one of the 70 prisoners in England and Wales serving a whole life sentence. So let me give a TLDR version of this whole crime. Too long, didn't read. Let me give that. Paul Massey was shot dead on 26 July 2015 on his driveway. A reward was declared, but no one came up with any information. Detectives were also not able to manage the large number of suspects. And for 3 whole years, there was no further improvements until the killing of a close associate and friend of Massey. Kinsella was shot dead with the same mode of operation. That reopened the case, and with the help of a smartwatch, Mark Fellowes was found guilty of both the killings, and he was sentenced to a whole life sentence. I felt this was a very interesting incident, and that is why I wanted to share this with you. We all have heard and used smartwatches, but how many have heard of solving cases with a smartwatch, right? Not much. And it's not forensic tech or rocket tech. It is tech that you're familiar with, the consumer tech. I had lots of fun making this video, and I hope you too had some fun watching this. Also, do let me know if you want to see more of these interesting tech stories. I'll try to do that more if the feedback is positive. That's it today. Hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. July 2015. Coming to the Kinsella